and welcome to Soap Secrets. Now, we are going to start today with Coronation Street because it's my favourite. No, I'm joking. I love them all. I just want to know, is the storyline that I love the main storyline this week, Claire?
No, it isn't.
No, I knew it. I was setting myself up for a fool. Because, of course, it's the start of the trial.
Yes, it is. It's the start of the trial this week for the murder of Sept. This has taken a bit of a back burner because, you know, throughout the whole summer we've had the love triangle between Fizz, Alina and Ty, you know, and Little Hope setting the fire and Alina losing the baby. So that's been our main focus. There have been other things going on, but this week it's the start of the trial. Now, you know, at the heart of this is Abby. Abby, you know, she's the emotional storyline in this, and she shows some of Seb's possessions that were found on him from the night of the attack to Nina, and so this is a really big week in Coronation Street because she sees this plastic ring. It's just a joke plastic ring, and Seb had given it to Nina the night that they were attacked, you know, and it was, you know, when you get something that's worthless but someone gives it to you in a sort of a tender jokey moment, it means quite a lot, and it awakens something in Nina, and she decides to retrace her and Seb's steps from that fateful night because she's never been able to remember exactly what went on. Now, we have all assumed that it's Corrie and that Kelly did a couple of things, but the main attacker was Corrie. So in this series of specially shot reconstruction scenes, and we do see Seb, so Seb comes back, so to speak, the audience is taken back to that night, and the truth of what happened is finally revealed as Nina's memory returns. So that's a really big thing. It's gruesome. I mean, you don't want. It's nasty to see people being attacked, but you know, because both of them were attacked. You know, Nina survived it, Hannah, but you know, Seb didn't.
But also retracing that whole awful incident because it's pretty shocking even at the time, wasn't it?
Yes. It was massively shocking. They were attacked because Nina was a goth, so
yeah,
it's really
just
shocking.
Really awful. And so Corrie and Kelly are both on trial, aren't they, for the murder of Seb?
Yes, they are. So Corey's a bad boy. He likes to think he's a bad boy. I'm not sure he's quite as how he would handle prison. He's not that, you know, it's not that hard. But he's got a rich dad. Poor Kelly doesn't.
And there's some good lawyers hanging around, we understand as well.
Yes, Corey's got a great team. Poor Kelly just has Imran, you know, so we all know that her dad, Rick, has, you know, Gary murdered. So he's not going to ride onto a white steed and rescue her. You know, her mum's not great. So so they're both up there, and we have everyone taking the stand. It's going to be a massively emotional week. You've got Nina and Asha both taking the stand, and Sabine is a real Rottweiler, so she's going to really dig holes into their testimony.
Yeah, absolutely. But can Imran actually break down Corrie and get to the truth? Because I mean, they're going to be pretty dogged about their approach, aren't they?
They are. Corrie does not want to go to jail, and he's a lot harder and a bit more aggressive than Kelly. And he's quite frankly willing to lie in court. He is willing to lie. And so, you know, and he has an upstanding dad who has a successful company. We've got, you know, poor Kelly has a mum that's not great, and so, you know, when she takes the stand, obviously the lawyers just rip her to shreds.
There's part of me that thinks that Coronation Street has a duty to ensure that the right people do go down for this in a way, but of course the twists and turns in getting there, you know, it's a soap.
Yes.
I do need to keep reminding myself of that. Okay, onwards and upwards. Emmerdale. Tracy's postnatal depression really comes to a head this week, doesn't it?
Yes. So we have seen Tracy being really upset not really coping with little Frankie. Now, little Frankie's nearly 6 months old, and she's been really struggling. She got really upset. She thought she couldn't look after her daughter. Nate's not really been on top of it, and I don't think really anybody else has been on top of it. And this week, so she's mostly hidden it. So she has hidden it, but this week she reaches breaking point, and I think this is a big talking point for women who have babies and do have postnatal depression.
Well, people hide it. People do hide it. I mean, that's a genuine thing because you feel like a failure, which makes the postnatal depression even worse. So when you're asked by a midwife, "Oh, are you crying in the day? Are you upset? Are you?" No, I'm fine. Knowing full well that most mums actually probably cry at least once in the day because they're so jolly tired, you know. I know I did.
Well, it's a big thing, isn't it? Your first baby, it's a massive thing. You don't really know what you're doing. You're nervous. Is everything all right? I'm massively tired. You know, of course she's going to feel a bit anxious. Not everyone's super mum, are they?
I know, I agree, but I think it is a really important storyline and sort of, shining a bit of a spotlight on. I mean, I think people talk about it, but I still think there's a relative taboo around it, particularly for the person that's suffering. And of course, the quicker you get help, the quicker it can be, it can be sorted.
Yes, because really, mum and baby should be together, and she's bonding,
but she kind of runs away from her troubles, doesn't she, this week? Because she leaves the baby with Nate, her fiance, under the pretence that she's going to Priya's for the night, but that's not exactly what happens, and she actually vanishes, doesn't she?
She does, and that frightens Nate. So Nate's gran Faith. I like Faith. I really like Faith. She's got a good heart. I know. She sees things perhaps that other people don't see, and so she did give birth to Kane. So perhaps she knows a bit more about it than we do. So she had seen Tracy and had words with her, and had sort of. You know how you think about something, then you think, no, I'm not quite right on that. And she thought that Tracy was a little distant, and then thought, no, she's fine. But then once Nate says, she's gone missing, Faith thinks, I think I know what's wrong. And she has a hunch also as to where perhaps Tracy has run off to. She takes Pollard's car, and she does find Tracy sitting alone by her late father Frank's memorial tree. Tracy has gone back to try and perhaps get some comfort from her father. And so she's sitting at his memorial tree. Can Faith reach out and save Tracy? I'm guessing she can, because I think Faith is that kind of character.
She wants to be helped in a way.
Yes, I think she does. She's done this big thing.
And the whole storyline with Mina, I mean, I almost laugh at this storyline. I can't really... It's so evil and horrible, you can't believe that it's even still going on. But she's still menacing Victoria this week, isn't she? And
she is.
She actually breaks into Victoria's home.
She does, and she doesn't really care. I think Mina. She's really tough that way. So she breaks into Victoria's home, and she's nearly caught in the act because she doesn't put her phone on silent, and it chirps.
Right.
There's a thing as a burglar now. You have to put your phone on silent.
Of course you do. But the thing is, there's this creepy thing that she does. She steals things that before they're her victim, and that's what she's doing.
Yes. So she steals this paperweight. Now it's a really nice paperweight, and it's a faceted green glass paperweight. So I think what I would say with that is it's quite noticeable. It's not just something you would think, you would probably look at that in somebody's house and think, that's quite nice. So it's recognisable. I think that's the issue with it, because she takes his paperweight. Victoria realises she's not alone in the house. She goes running out the front door. Mina calmly heads for the back door in her very calm fashion, and later in the day, when Victoria's paperweight falls from Mina's bag in front of David, will she be able to cover, or will he notice?
Well, the thing is, this isn't the first time that's happened, is it? Because, of course, it happened previously. Something fell from a bag and she managed to sort of, like, you know...
Yes. The ring, Rihanna's ring that she took.
Someone's got to find her out soon. It's going too far now, Claire, I declare. Okay, Hollyoaks. So Tony's been suffering with some kind of financial woes, hasn't he? And they're really spiralling out of control this week. But he's keeping Diane in the dark for obvious reasons. Diane's got her own issues. And he tries to get credit from a supplier, but it's unsuccessful. And these two don't really seem to have much luck, do they?
They don't. This is a really big thing for me because the Hutch has, it was first started in around about 2014, so it's almost an institution in Hollyoaks, you know, and it's owned by Tony runs it, so he's the major owner of it, but he does co-own it with Nancy and with two other couples, Nancy and Darren, and Mandy and Luke. So they're kind of like silent partners. He's the one making all the decisions, doing this, that, and the other. And we know that he has been having financial problems with it. It's not bringing the money in. He's kept his wife Diane in the dark, and this week, he tries to get credit from a supplier to keep going. He's unsuccessful. Diane says she'll have a go, but the same supplier went, well, I think I want my money now. So she lands poor Tony with a £5,000 bill he cannot pay. This is quite serious. If you can't pay your suppliers, you're not going to get food in to be able to. It's
a vicious cycle, isn't it? But Luke sort of comes to the rescue, or comes up with an idea to try and help, which isn't really quite a rescue mission that one would hope for.
No, it isn't. He thinks, why don't we stage a robbery for the insurance money?
Of course, bright idea. Well done, Luke.
So insurance companies are wise to these kind of things, aren't they? It's kind of like, lots of people do naughty things to get insurance money. Anyway, Tony reluctantly agrees, but will it be a success? Well, sadly it isn't, and Tony comes clean to Diane, Nancy and Mandy about the financial situation, and they have a last meal. This is I'm getting all tearied up. A last meal in the Hutch and share the memories.
That's a big thing.
It is a big thing. I think it's huge.
It's really sad though, because Tony sort of just gets swept along, doing things he just shouldn't be doing.
Yes, but he's also had a bad year, isn't he? Because this time last year he was being held by Breeder, wasn't he? Then his dad tried to steal his wife Diane. Then his dad died at Christmas from a poisoned mince pie.
His wife's got some serious kind of issues. She doesn't want to go out, and he's got OCD and all that sort of thing. Oh dear, poor old Tony.
Yes.
Watch this space is what I say. Right, now finally, and definitely not EastEnders. So Strictly will be starting shortly, and Rose Ayling-Ellis, who plays Frankie in the soap, she'll be one of the contestants.
Yes, she will. I think that's really nice. I think she's a great addition to the soap. It is Rose as Frankie. So I'm hoping she's going to do really well on Strictly.
Yeah, I love it when the soap stars go in there. And a lot of the soap stars are sort of they've been to theatrical school, which I think has dance often in it, don't they? So they usually are relatively good. So yeah, it'll be good to see. But this week, other than Strictly, it's all about Gray. Because we're wondering whether the Square will soon find out that they do have a serial killer in their midst.
Yes. So this week, Gray gets fired, and his boss doesn't do it over Zoom or calls him into the office. She actually pitches up at his house. Isn't that nice?
How sweet! The real personal touch.
No. It's just odd. So Gray's boss fires him. I mean, we all know he hasn't been the best solicitor, and she's had issues with him. It's all come to a head. She's had enough. He's fired. Now, this means he's no longer an upstanding solicitor, and he's also short of cash. He has 2 children he has to feed, and Chelsea is an expensive girlfriend that spends money and doesn't really care about his debts or what his credit card's doing, so long as it goes through. So she is just an amazing character, Chelsea. So will this tip him over the edge this week? Well, you know what? I think it does. I think maybe this is the beginning of the end, because he's really angry about everything, and he tells Shirley he spotted Tina on a bus. Now, Tina, you know, so we all know obviously that Tina's dead, but Shirley and Mick think that she ran away because she was in the frame for the attack on Ian, which all happened, you know, just before Christmas last year. It was all going on, which we know that Phil and Sharon were responsible for. So they think that Tina ran away, and that's why she's been missing for 8 months, obviously. And, you know, so Shirley and Mick, they're a very close family. They go off looking for her. And obviously they don't find her because she's not there. Shirley puts pressure on Sharon to come clean to the police that it was her and Phil that were behind the attacks on Ian, hoping that a confession would allow Tina to come home. Of course, now we know that poor Tina was murdered. So is this a mistake that Gray has made? Because if he has said he spotted Tina, he can always lie and say he thought it was her if her body were to turn up. But, you know, would the police take a closer look at him? Because so at the moment, the police think that Chantel was killed by an accident and the body has been found. The police think that Kush accidentally fell under a tube and the body has been found. So the only body out there is Tina's, in the Thames, we think, and that if that were to pitch up, then all sorts of questions would have to be asked, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, it does have to unravel at some point. The storyline has been going on for a while, and he can't. I mean, I say he can't. It's happened before in other soaps. I know that to have gone on for longer, but it was escalating. Although it's been quiet for a little while anyway.
Yes.
But who would be next?
Yes. So I do think that the weak point is Tina's body, isn't it? And we've had Tina's earring pitch up, and we've now had him saying that he saw her on a bus. I mean, he can easily lie and say, well, I thought it was her.
But it just might mean, why was he involved? He sort of landed himself in being involved in something that he didn't need to be straight away. Yeah. And like you say, he's not sort of an upstanding solicitor in the community now. He's, you know, someone who's been, I don't know if he was struck off or just fired, I'm not sure.
He was fired.
So, you know, either way, it's not exactly a great indictment for, you know, who you are, is it really?
No.
Well, it's all happening, Claire. Thank you very much for giving us a big update. You definitely need to tune into all of them. Do nothing else this week, just watch soaps. And we will be back next week. Thanks for listening.